Hey y'all, this is Joe from St. Bernard Acres. I'm out here in my shed. I'm going to be working on some MC4 connectors for my solar when I go out there and start setting up my solar panels. One of the things about them, they're older, they're new old stock, if you will, but they have MC3 connectors on them, and I don't like those connectors, and I'll show you an ad if I can get it to show up on here to convert that from an MC3 to an MC4, which are these kind. Those are MC4 connectors. So to convert from MC3 to MC4 is like, I don't know, $20 per cable to do the conversion. And I've got 8 of them I have to do. So I'm not paying for that. I'm going to be I'm going to cut those MC3 connectors off and putting on MC4 connectors. So what I'm going to do is show you how I do the MC4 cables. What I'm going to do, and one of the reasons why I have to do this, I've got the 4 panels, 2 wires each. That's going to go into a combiner box. I don't want to run, I've got a run of about 40 feet I have to make. I don't want, and it's going to be 8 AWG wire. I don't want to run 8 different lines 40 feet. That's going to be very expensive. So what I'm going to do is run them all into a combiner box. The 4 from each side of the panels, the 4 negatives and the 4 positives, will go into a combiner box, a real simple combiner box that I'll make. Then I will have only 1 AWG negative and 1 positive running the 40 feet to the charge controller inside the cabin. So you can buy MC4 cables of any length that you want, and I could buy them, say a 6-foot MC4 cable. It's got a male and a positive end on it. I could cut that in half and achieve what I want. I would have the 2 wires that would go into the combiner box. But rather than buy everything, I think it's more important to learn how to make your own versus buying everything. You're paying somebody else to do all that for you, and what happens if you're out there for the weekend or you're living there, something goes wrong, you need a couple of cables, you need to replace a couple of cables to make your system work. You don't know how to make them, or you don't have the supplies to make them. So I think that's a very important part of it, is learning how to do it. There's not always going to be somebody around for you to pay to do something for you. So part of my whole experience in getting ready to do this and this whole off-grid thing is to learn all of the stuff. And that's what I try to do, is learn. So what I'm going to do is make some MC4 connectors out of number 10 wire. This is going to be 10 AWG. That's going to connect up to all the solar panels, and then they'll all come into the combiner box. So I only need these to be about 4 or 5 feet long, these 2 that I'm getting ready to make. Then, it was cheap enough to buy 2 50-foot rolls. I need about, just a few feet of each, but I'll put those in stock, and I'll have those for later for expanding or whatever I want to do. Believe it or not, that's a tugboat on the Ohio River. That's how close I am to the river. If I look down the alley, I can see the tugboat going down the river. So that's how close we are. But I'm going to go ahead and move the camera around, get it over here by the bench to where you can see what I'm doing. And I'll try to show you how easily I make these. I'll be back. All right. So hopefully I can keep all of this in the screen. I'm not very adept or very experienced at shooting video like this. What I bought originally, These are 4 connectors here for 4 negatives on the solar panels going to 1. And I have another one that will take the 4 solar panels, the positive side, and connect them. So that won't work in my case because my cables are not long enough to span the kind of rack that I'm going to build to put the 4 panels on. So I have to make my own. And in order to make my own, I have to cut some wire, put these ends on them that I was talking about, and they need to be, I'm going to make them about, I'm going to make them like 3 feet long. And what I need is 4 positive and 4 negative for each one of them. And I only have to put an MC4 connector on one end is all I have to do. But I'm going to cut a couple of short pieces and make one and show you how they work. Because you never know when this might come in handy. I could use it anyway. But I do want to give you an opportunity to see. So if I make a couple of short ones, I'll be okay. Just so I can teach you, I will spend the money on a couple of ends. So what you've got, there are 2 different kinds of inserts. You have, if this will show up, you have a female, and this is a male. This will go inside of here, like so. Female, male. What's interesting is this is the female connector. That's the one that that female insert goes in. This is the male one. The male insert goes into this connector. It looks like it would be just the opposite, but this is the female. Remember, this is the male. This is the female. You can see inside them if I can get them lined up right. So, one thing you have to have is a crimping tool. I bought this kit off of Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description where if you want to buy one. If you buy this one, I'll get a little credit for it. I'll use my affiliate thing with them. But you cannot do this. I tried to do it when I was trying to some out at the RV. You cannot do it with a pair of needle nose pliers or a pair of pliers. I learned the hard way on that. So let me strip enough wire to go right in here. That's all I need to strip. So what I'm going to do on here is make one end male, one end female, where I could use this to as an extension like. So I'm going to take my female one first. You have this case that it goes into, this nut end that goes over it. It takes, you'll see how all these go together, a rubber washer to help make it weather tight, and then it's almost like a compression fitting in plumbing. So what I'm going to do is take my male end, which is the small one, I'm going to put my wire in there like so, and then take my crimping tool. Now you have to ratchet this all the way for it to open back up again. You have to apply pressure to get it to release. If you take it like that, it's not going to release. You have to go all the way with it and then release it. So I've got this end, you can see, in there. And I'm going to place it in the crimp tool. I'll use the middle one because that's for number 10. I'm going to turn it like so that it is in there like that. And then all I have to do is squeeze this together. It rolls it around and crimps it down on there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you see how that is not coming off of there at all. So once I have that crimped on, that's as solid as it gets. I'm going to slide my end of my bushing over. Well, first I'm going to put this end in. Then I will do my bushing and my rubber. And then this is going to slide up in here as far as you can push it. Hear it snap? That's in now. When it snaps, take the bushing, the rubber, slide it into there. Then take your nut, if you will, tighten it. And just get it on tight, like so. And now you have a weather-tight male connection on this. And this is very tight. That is not coming apart. That's the perfect MC4 connection. Then, and you can see it in there, I will take the other end and I'm going to put the female end on it. So that's going to be the one with the big hole. And I will do exactly the same thing. Put the wire inside there. Put it in. You can see there's different ways on those tooth. The round part on the bottom of your screen, it rides the back of it. And then the top part, that's what rolls it around and crimps it down into the wire. So you put it in like so. You get it started to where you're in. I hope this shows. My fat finger's in the way. It can be kind of tricky till you get used to it. But that's the way you set it up. And again, crimp it all the way down. And it released. So that is super tight. And you're going to do exactly the same thing with this female end. You'll put the nut part on, then the compression and rubber seal, then you'll put the end on. There it is. And you'll hear it snap also when you get it in. There it is. That doesn't come out. Watertight seal. Then get in there. Tighten that down. And there you have an MC4 extension cable for the negative side. I'll make one for the positive side, and then I'll have me a pair. So hang on. And there you go. You see how fast I made that. So I don't have to go buy any. I don't have to pay anybody to make them for me. I have about, I don't know, how long is that? 15, 18 inches? An extension, a 10 gauge extension for solar cables. Now what I have to make for my panels are going to have just one end on them. It's going to be bare wire on the other end. That's what I was saying. If you wanted to, you could buy, or I could buy a 5-foot one of these pre-made, cut it in half, strip it back, and I've got what I need to go into my combiner box. But I'd rather make my own and just make them as long as I need them by the wire, which is not very expensive, the tool, which is not very expensive, and learn how to make your own. That's how it works. So, I hope you enjoyed this little demo on how I make them and how easy it is to make them rather than buy them. I happen to buy these. I bought a couple bags of these. There's like 10 in each bag of the connections. This is from Renogy. And the crimping tool came with those. I'm not going to use them because I don't know how to use them. And pockets with a couple of extras. So when I'm finished here and I have all of my cabling done, I have a pack for an emergency. And if something happens out at the cabin, I burn up a wire or a wire gets cut somehow, I have my kit to let me fix my problem without having to call somebody or without having to wait for something to be ordered, because I know how to do it now and I have the resources. Somewhere this zips up and I'm good to go. Again, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm going to go put this in and upload it now. Ah, what a mess. That's all there is to it. Make your own MC4 cables. Let's see, is there anything else I needed to say?
If you like it, share it.
Oh yes, yeah.
Give it a thumbs up.
Yes.
If you have any questions or comments.
Yes, like this, share it. Questions, comments, put them in there. I answer all my comments. I don't let them slide. You got any suggestions, a different way of doing it, let me know. But subscribe, like, share, comment, ring the bell, get that little bell thing so that you know when I upload more. As I put this whole solar system together, I'll be making videos, and I'll link on this video how, because I did a video earlier where I also make my own battery cables for the battery bank. So I'll put an end screen on here that will link you to the video showing you how easy it is to make battery cables. Again, something you do on your own. You don't pay somebody to do it for you, or you don't have to spend an outrageous amount of money buying them pre-made. So there we go. Again, thank you all for watching. This is Joe from St. Bernard Acres. I'm out.